Okay, yeah. It is a Thursday, and it is a Thursday, almost a Friday. Oh, it's nice to see all of you. How's it going, everyone? How's everyone doing? I hope it's okay. I've been trying to taper off of some new medication, so I feel like most of this week I've just been waking up with almost like nearly like a cold sweat. Just like almost like I don't even need like coffee because my own like adrenaline and anxiety is keeping me awake. Gotta make the most of, gotta make light of some really uh, dark moments, yeah. But aside from that, what's it called? Some of this week has been good. There's been a few nice announcements. Mostly like fighting game stuff. What's it called? Asuka's coming out next week for Strive. I think that's somebody I've been looking forward to because it's like it was almost like a will they won't they as far as whether they were going to release him or not. Because deep down it's like he's going to be there, but is he going to be super powerful that it's going to be intimidating to work on him? But like from what I saw, it was just like a fun maximalist design where like he just had like a booklet full of papers coming out, like a huge scepter, like just this kind of like rose covering his eye, and like his cape has like this almost like galaxy inside of it. It's a really fun effect. Like I know on PC I might not have him, but I got I think I got the pass on what's it called on my PlayStation. So if I do tinker around with him, I imagine it might be more offline unless I get really hooked on him while I'm practicing on my system. But yeah, another one is Mortal Kombat. Like that one looks alright. I think it just kind of looks like it's visually impressive because it looks like kind of like some of the other games, but at the same time, I think that some of the newer games have just gotten kind of weird. Where like as soon as it started to get into more photorealism, I feel like it started to kind of make it a little more like kind of give you a little bit of over openness or over awareness of what it takes to make that kind of game. Where like when you're kind of just building like cartoonish deaths, like people just like having their necks stretched out into like a giraffe, like you're like there's the frame of reference is like a cartoon or like some goofy anime. It's something where your inspiration is just like mangling people but in like a cartoon fashion. But as you start to get more photorealistic, like I know back when like 11 was like kind of out and done, like after like a good year or so. I think it was around like the time when like the Red Dead Redemption 2 like making ended up kind of starting to realize like how poorly treated a lot of the Rockstar people were. A lot of the people from NetherRealm came out and were like, oh man, like yeah, around The Office we had to watch like a ton of like live leaks or like snuff. Like there would just be times where people would have like crime scene footage like on their like desktop and they had to use that as a frame of reference to animate some of the people. And it's like if that's what people have to go through in order to make these fatalities, it's not worth it anymore. But I think also like it's a little chunky in the hands. Like it's something where I feel like a lot of the combos in Mortal Kombat almost feel like they're a little too like very, it feels like more like picking a lock than just like opening a doorknob, where you just kind of like are like picking it apart and you have to like almost click like back and forth fast, or you have like a separate button for your block. Is not my speed. But aside from that, today is looking pretty solid because we are going to get back into the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles again. It's going to be the start of chapter 3. I just finished chapter 2, so that's going to be very exciting. I just need to get that up and running. We gotta cook with some fire over here. Otherwise, what are we doing? Let's see. Ah, there we go. There we go. Just gonna minimize you. We gotta get you going over here. Yeah, look at me. I'm like on that corner. Yes. Alright, we're going to select load game. I gotta turn down my headphones. So these are both the same exact one. The Adventure of the Runaway Room. I gotta do this in my most like for kids like kind of intonation once this comes up. Start playing from the save data. In episode 3. Oh yeah, this is British. Episode 3, The Adventure of the Runaway Room. I'm gonna become king of the pirates.
Of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night.
The dead, to emphasize the
victim
death.
and the perpetrator were the only ones inside. There were multiple witnesses to the crime itself.
The crime itself. I love this.
However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner.
Who would have known a murder would be
My
very
friend,
horrific?
Mr. Herlock Sholmes once said of the incident.
That doesn't look like him at all.
I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude.
The prelude.
The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together.
It doesn't sound like me, but I could make it sound like me. Ooh, anime. Oh man, this is just like when I was watching Oshinoko earlier. Oh.
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous
Ooh, everyone's
building
British,
before.
even the Japanese people.
And look at all the steam locomotives.
Or when they learned English, they just learned the
This
Queen's
country is
English.
incredible.
Oh man, look at it. These buildings. Ooh, selling moonshine. Selling like bathtub gin and cocoa. Hey, penny, please.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
Offices to be let.
Where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
Oh, I love.
In that case,
Get on.
the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure.
Cleese and Palin. Is that Palin? Like in the Monty Python?
Students from abroad, eh?
Or Monty Python? Are these people British? Very.
Thought so. Well then,
And as like, I guess like Ryunosuke and like Susanoo like learned English, they just like adopted a British accent.
London.
Hi Rosie, how's it going? It's great to have you on board. We are getting into the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Yeah. In this particular story, I am, what's it called? Phoenix Wright's, like, great-great-grandpa. And I got an opportunity to, like, take a boat to, like, what's it called? Great Britain. Because my, like, boyfriend Kazuma was supposed to come over here. But in the process, I was able to, I guess, probably start learning law. So now I'm going to be doing, I guess, being a defendant in like British courts. This is the first British. Usually in Ace Attorney, they're all Japanese. So this is just something unprecedented where it was like, we need to incorporate Sherlock Holmes into the story. So in the process of that, like, we have to make like Phoenix Wright's like great-great-grandpa like go to Britain and like be like relocated from Japan so that he can like, I guess, take up his like, I guess, like guy friend's like dream of being a lawyer, but with British stuff. The animated cutscene was really good. I think that was like, it was only like maybe like a handful. I think like just maybe like a couple that were really brief. This was the longest cutscene we got though. So that was a lot of fun. Oh man. And now they're like, what's it called? Now that they were able to make it from like this kind of tumultuous like boat ride, now they're in Great Britain, like going to like the Supreme Court, and they have to like see what everything looks like now. Apparently there's a lot of gears and steam. This is a very steampunk court. Note to self, in like maybe like turn of the century Great Britain, all of their courts looked like they were designed by like, what's it called, like steampunk enthusiasts. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they've only been built a few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. Yeah, because the Matthew Perry thing. The guy from Friends, like, I guess, imported, like, stuff from, like, Britain or something. The authentic example of something like this is quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly unfamiliar, but I think there's more of a difference than just construction materials. Like all these gears. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time, if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. Oh yeah, cause what's it called? In chapter 2, like, I got accused of, like, I guess, incapacitating my life partner Kazuma. But I was able to prove myself wrong. And I was able to make the ship bride. But everyone is still really sad about it. No. So instead, we're here in a different capacity. As envious to report it, as envoys to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So, we'd have to return to Japan? If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma's place as a law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you'll need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer. Which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch.
Ah, good morning. Sorry for keeping you.
I have to see what his face looks like.
Oh,
He's got a very pointy face, very nice beard. Not oh as in like, oh, that's a murder.
I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. It seems in 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 40 seconds late. My apologies.
Oh, no, don't mention it. We've never been happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do.
How fortunate. So, introductions. I am Mal Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. Of the British Empire!
I feel like a little mouse underneath an elephant's foot. It's like, I'm just projecting my fantasies of being stepped on by this guy. Yeah. It is a really nice contrast. I feel like with like some of the older games, it was more of like a dynamic 2D, but like what's it called? With like, I think with a lot of like the 3DS sort of ones, you have a much more upscale, almost like dynamic like animation to a lot of them. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, from the Empire of Japan.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London, the capital of the glorious British Empire.
Yes, thank you. Converse. Oh, like an evidence sort of thing. London.
So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London?
Well, I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about this city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh.
We had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say I'm almost at a loss for words.
I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water, and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor from London is astounded.
Oh yes, astounded is the word. Well, thanks for saving me there, Susato-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor.
Yes. There is much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we will be hosting here in London.
Great exhibition?
Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. Oh no. It'll be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and it will make the Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop.
Man, are you being proud of the British Museum? Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's gonna be.
Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the cultural world, known for its fine dining and wonderful beaches.
Even if you do say so yourself.
The sun will never set on our great foggy empire, always overcast. Perhaps it's fate in these progressive times. We welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun.
How about lawyers? I'm a law student, technically. Lord Chief Justice? I think you were expecting a student of law in this study tour, weren't you?
Absolutely. Mr. Kazuma Sogi, if my memory serves.
That's right.
The British government has already telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores.
It's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived.
My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours.
Thank you.
And you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of this news?
Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person.
They tell you the Japanese are people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that is true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means the study tour arrangement can no longer proceed.
If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart.
What do you have to say, madam?
It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal.
Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo.
This is it then. The moment of truth. I wonder if he's as strong as them damn sideburns. Hi, Reverend Darkness. It's great to have you around. Isn't it great to have you on board to make fun of this guy's pointy sideburns? Yeah, he looks like he's very well built, though. He's very intimidating. I have to convince this guy that I am good for this. Yeah, he kind of has he's very coded for being a bit evil. I'm doing great. I'm holding up. What's it called? I'm getting used to some new medication, so I'm a little antsy, but I've been starting to get a little bit more adjusted to it. But at the moment, nothing's making me more tense than looking into this guy's eyes. Oof. How am I going to talk to Lord Strongheart? I was wondering if you perhaps would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead. Yeah, he's got really sharp eyes. I feel like it's like the eyebrows, where he kind of looks like a Tekken character, where he's like really intimidating and like just really like on like just very much like just intensity, straight up.
Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead, but without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done.
Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean.
I will beat you with this cane. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country, and that was Mr. Asogi. At least, that is what I'm led to understand.
Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo, I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I gonna say? If there's someone else here from Japan, who could it be? Actually, there's no one. Nobody exists. There's Miss Susato, or it's me. Let's go with it's me. You're looking at him right here, buddy. I can do it. Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but
No qualifications, you say,
and yet you still claim to be a lawyer. I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it seems. And I had Cosmo to help me. And I was the accused. But glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on my journey here to Great Britain studying. I've gotten in at least 2 different pickles I had to get myself out of. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings when I was on board the SS Burya.
the voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you'd call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training.
I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Cosmo, Mr. Hisogi's journey has only just begun, and it's never over. Got a lot of love to give. The boat ride was 50 days. Damn, I would not have lasted. Yeah, it was definitely one of those things where it was like, not only was the ship ride rough, but I had to like clear my name during the ship ride. So I'm going on a ship ride with people who I know full well thought that I guess tried to get my best friend killed. So like you have that animosity for like 50 days on top of like studying for law for 50 days. It was quite a bit. Awkward. Coming here on this journey was all I don't do ships because if they sink yeah, I feel like there's that internal anxiety of just rocking back and forth constantly. And I think with older ships, especially in like the 1900s, it was bad news. The character from One Piece with the weakness of a devil. This is a really good one. I'm really sorry about that though. I don't mean to laugh that way. No, you're not ass. It's just, what's it called? Some people have really hard bridges to cross. I have a really hard time being in cars, so that's something that ends up just fueling a lot of my anxiety. And I totally get it if something like boats or planes or trains ends up being something that does bother some people. Coming here on the study tour was all he thought about other than me. I have to carry out and do everything he planned to. I know it sounds like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but he really did like me. I don't know if trains and... I feel like maybe I might do better with a train than with a car, but I'm still like constantly like second guessing whether I'm as good with other transportation as I am with cars, which is not so good. But I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. Just one chance, it's all I'm asking for. Please. 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo, was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I might say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer. Oh, thanks. So you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Huh? But let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes. You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? He agreed to quite a few S&M clubs. I don't want you to get roped into that if that's not what you came here for. Well, yes, that's my intention. I'm very much used to that. I see. Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just change a fraction there? What does pro mean by that? Oh man, did he smile a little bit when it came to like me talking about me gushing about Kazuma? Strongheart was like, I'm a little strong-hard right now. Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. To become a especially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or not is entirely down to you. Really? What's the test?
What is your name? What is your quest? What is your favorite color?
Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the rule? It's blue.
Oh no, you're free to go. Blue was the right answer.
But the blue! No, yellow! Oh man. I was like, we're in Britain, so I might as well get the most out of all of the Monty Python jokes I can. Now for something completely different. What would you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course.
Damn! I thought I got him!
That's well said. You have to defend somebody in court in order to be a lawyer.
Fuck! I thought I got him!
Huh? Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an app trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for defense as of yet, so this will be of welcome news.
Today?
Straight away. If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you have passed my test. Oh, so the test is me just being some random, like, just lawyer that, like, a volunteer pro bono lawyer. Man. What could be simpler? How did I get myself into these situations? Well, could I ask, what sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart? Yes, good question. I remember. A man punched a pelican who tried to steal his sausage roll. A really tragic thing. You have to prove he wasn't guilty, and he was innocent. It's actually a very easy trial. They take their sausage rolls very seriously here, as you'll learn. It's a murder trial. Ooh, see, I was half right. A murder? An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose. That's easy to say. But I should mention, just in case. If the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. Which, in our country, it's listening to a lot of, well, have you looked at the top 10 charts? Have you looked at every Christmas #1 within the past decade? You know what the punishment is. You're going to be listening to a lot of the Smiths until you become really depressed. Capital punishment? He'll be put to death? No, something worse. Listening to Morrissey. Today's Morrissey. Dun dun dun! Here in Great Britain, murders are sentenced to the gallows without exception. Just as we did to Jolly Roger, before he revealed something stupid about a piece. Some piece of something, I don't know. Presumably, you read that in much of your short C-based introductions to British law. I mean, it did show up in a couple Sherlock stories. But he really sanitized that. I mean, he can't possibly agree to such a test. You can't say that, Susato. We're supposed to be lawyers. This was Sogi's dream. He wanted to be able to, like, defend people from being murdered by the state. Or by the province. We'd be toying with a man's life. I am Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable, goddammit! Also, have you read text from, like, the mid-1800s Japan where, like, samurai would just be put into, like, pots of boiling water? You literally should be familiar with capital punishment existing to some capacity. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to ensure that you don't lose. Otherwise, his death is on your hands, buddy. So the defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged? He'll be hung? Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve.
What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you right now. What will it be?
What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? I will do it or I won't do it. Of course I'll do it. I mean, I have to do it for the game. Also, you can bet your bacon I'm gonna get this guy off. I've gotten a lot of guys off recently in this game, so what's another guy to get off? Alright then. If I have to give you a decision now, my answer is I can't do it. I can't get the words out. If you don't do it, the game just ends. If you don't do it, you go back to the beginning, like in the beginning of Persona 5, where it's like,
This is a work of fiction. Do you agree?
and if you say no, it's like,
I'm afraid you can't play the game until you say yes. Back to the main menu you go until you say yes.
that was the funniest part of Persona. Where it's like, if you don't agree this is right, you're back to the opening menu, and it's just redundant. You're just in a merry-go-round until you just agree to play the darn thing. 15 seconds. Your decision-making skills need work if you want to be a lawyer. That's too slow. So, it is as expected, isn't it? Sorry. You have noble intentions, but a lack of resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Fuck off! Go and acquire your ticket back to the east tomorrow. This conversation is over. Yes, Lord Strongheart. Wait, thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry, Mr. Sato. What could I do? It's alright. I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. But resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Miss Susato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance of trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel the exact same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Oh damn, he actually left.
Wait, Mr. Naruhodo.
Was there something else?
It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time.
But I just said that.
I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him.
What?
At this point, he can't hope to find someone representative to him. The trial will begin without a defense, and if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence a judge can pass down.
But that's awful.
But that's the truth.
Why does it have to be like this?
Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there's only one person now with the chance to save this man from a miserable end. And that is you.
I'm really his one only hope.
So, what do you say now, madam?
Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart?
You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, and it's purely a simple matter of resolve.
Oh.
Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into the great city and enjoy yourselves.
He's gone. The Old Bailey. If we're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once.
Alright, I'm leaving at once.
Oh man, this is the lobby that I was at the other time in Japan. They have the same lobbies in Japan as they do in Britain. Wow. He does the he takes those doves that appear that he spreads its arms. He needs to have those. Like in like a John Woo movie, every time like something dramatic happens, there's like a dove that flies. That needs to happen every time he like spreads his arms. It's like, take these broken wings and learn to fly again. Oh man, really peppy music now. Oh, thank goodness we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were gonna rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when he climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from Herlock Sholmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly. Oh no, there's expectations now. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were gonna die. And we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial starts. Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all.
Ooh, he's one of the men.
So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room of defendants to wait is grand. This is just like our old courtroom. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm feeling tense is all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is gonna crush whoever's about to be sentenced. Feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man you're about to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at the moment. Top of the morning to you, madam. Sir?
Oh, yes. What are you doing? Following me here? Teens are fair desperate, aren't they?
Sorry.
Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the east, are yous?
We're from Japan, yes.
Ah, Japan, yeties. Right. Say no more. So, how much do yous need?
It's offensive. So like, really, this is really like Cockney accents. Like, what's it called? Like the Mary Poppins ones. I guess this is maybe the defendant. Oh no, we're here because...
No need to explain, fella. I've been here myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, and all while in a strange faraway land.
Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no.
'Tis grand, 'tis grand. Let me start by giving yous 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now.
Huh. Whoa! 1,000 guineas. Yes, Mr. Sato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 is... That's enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo.
What? These are nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have a sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I've enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over.
Could that be much rain for even one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept a large sum of money. Ah! Fuck! Hit me in the eye! Oh, gouged me a bit.
Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you no strings attached. I be waiting for you to do something for me.
Oh?
To be honest, this a little embarrassing. A trial's about to begin, you see. It's for me good self here. I'll be in the dock.
Oh.
So now, what you want to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer. But that's a little detail now.
Oh, well, the thing is...
Don't worry a thing. All you got to do is stand up there next to me. Nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial's about to start without me having any kind of representation at all.
So it's true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial?
Bluster and blazes! Do yous not know who I am? Me? One of London's biggest names!
No, sorry. We've only just arrived in the city, you see.
I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park, in the center of London, is another beautiful park.
Sorry, a park? What?
'Tis called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated to the city, so I did.
An entire park? In central London?
A city of smiles, that is my vision for London. There's nothing McGinnis McGilded wouldn't do for the city, and its square old people.
Man, Magnus McGilded. It does feel offensive. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary.
Ah, but now they got the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What's the matter with the London police, I ask ya?
Oh, I have a feeling. I know what's going on. All the lawyers didn't want to defend him because they wanted him to be like, they wanted to get rid of him, and this was their way of getting rid of him, even if he's not guilty. All right, don't pass out, Mr. Naruhodo. Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while he catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here from London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our...
What was I saying, you daft idiot? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there to me, haven't I?
Well, yes. I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry.
I know what you're thinking. This chancer of a fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he didn't? That's the only explanation. Well,
not at all. I'm gonna butter him up because I gotta butter up my client. Not at all, although it's a little strange, to be honest. Why don't you have a lawyer, I mean? That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry, did he just say the Reaper? Reaper, Reaper, that's what they all call him. Why? That 'cause they all die. When he's prosecutor, he ends their lives. You act as though payback makes you a noble man. Is that a fact? Sorry. Wrong song. Wrong game. The Grim Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Barock von Zeeks. He's the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? When Van Zeek stands on the prosecution, they call the accused as sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been prosecutor, the accuser has been damned. What? So it's reached a desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Barock von Zeeks. Was he JoJo pose? He does do a little JoJo pose. It definitely, because of part 1 taking place in like Old Britain, like this kind of falls almost in line with JoJo. Like this is almost nearly, this takes place almost nearly within the same time that Phantom like thing happened. He kind of reminds me of Speedwagon a bit. He must have been an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Yeah, he does kind of look like Speedwagon a bit. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, ma'am. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel? That would be me. Oh, 'tis time. Well then, fella, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here. I made it in me mind, so I had. Sorry. I've decided I had to defend myself in here. How would that have worked? But then you made an appearance. A student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident. I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't think with cold feet now, please. I literally know nothing about this case, or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. I gotta feel this out. Mr. Naruhodo, the man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing but himself to defend himself. Yes, something Cosmo would have never allowed to happen.
Counsel to the defense, what are you doing? If you're late to the start of the trial, you'll lose your right to stand.
I'll be right here. It's happening then. My first trial in a British courtroom. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. I hope you're looking at me and you're like, oh man, just as submissive and breedable as I always knew. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Alright. That's my good boy. You're doing me very proud. Oh man, look at this fire! Oh man, it's the three houses fire! Look at this fire gif. I love it. I love artifact fire like this. I love gif fire. GIF fire! 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 I love this. I need to stay on this for a bit. This needs to be my background. and be like, I'm gonna spread my whole like avatar out. Be like, hey, hey rock stars, how's it going? I'm Rock Naroka, the cafe owner from Beyond the Stars. I'm in court at the moment. I don't know what for, but I have a fine-looking defendant looking out for me. Alright, I'll stop. I'll stop doing my goofs. There we go. Just inch a little bit there. There we go. Look at that cute little boy. That's me. Sorry, I don't mean to butter myself up. The GIF fire is beautiful. Ooh, look at all these fun like jurors. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different from the Supreme Court of Japan. It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. An atmosphere almost makes it redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt and innocence is always a solemn affair. I think I have his sword. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, what is it? Your eyes look like they're ready to pop out of your head again. I know. I just can't help it.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt and innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsel of this prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is fully prepared.
That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch this poor victim to the underworld. Also looks like Dracula.
Counsel to the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English?
Oh yeah, yes, of course. Sorry. But he asked if the defense is ready. I couldn't be further from ready if I tried.
Those eyes please me. Nipponese.
Nipponese, I feel like that's a bit...
They shroud your fear, no doubt. Your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb.
A cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes.
Now, Mr. McGilded.
Yes, my lord.
You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty.
I know, I'm going to jail. If I saw him as a prosecutor, I know I'd go into jail. Man. Be like, I don't want to say it, but like, if I'm going to say it, like, I wouldn't be going to jail for like anything outside of the courtroom. I would definitely be like, ooh man, I need to rub those cheeks. I need to see what that jaw's like. Kind of a charmer if he's not a little offensive, but what's it called? Von Zeeks is a Von Freak. Hello, Moonlight Mage, how's it going? We are just about getting started with the trial I just got like lumped into. Yeah. This is my first trial in Britain as a Japanese, great-great-grandfather of Phoenix Wright. So I am going to be having to defend some dude from murder. This guy, Mr. McGilded, he is the defendant.
As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. even if this fella's a student from some little island in the Far East. Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers of yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance? I'd like to think that acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud.
Listen to Mr. McGilded. What a fine gentleman London brought.
Did you hear he donated £5,000 to the government?
Mother, may we go and see McGilded Park?
It seems that, though, everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. And that's definitely welcome news. And he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince everyone to defend it.
Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded. A most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need to remind you that the 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed?
Man, that dude has a knife! Man, I mean, I know I'm bringing a katana to court, but this dude's just flinging around a knife. If he messes up, that lady next to him's getting it.
Yes, my lord. If I am taxed to send robbers to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready.
At the manor, this lordship always said we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Ha! Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me.
I feel a chill.
Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with me knitting. Must finish my knit for my grandson.
Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Those people are the jury, yes. And that's something we don't have in Japan yet. That's right, I've only ever read about them. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of 6 jurors. The judge passes sentence according to law, but jurors determine guilt based off of common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict? That I don't know, but I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses. Yes.
Prosecutor Van Zeeks, my lord. It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame.
I'm known as the Reaper of Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity.
So what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance to which the court should be made aware?
Very graceful. I'll leave that to your imagination, my lord.
So the Reaper's been out of action for 5 years. That means he's rusty. Why did he have to choose today of all days to make a comeback? Man, he's gonna mess up his comeback because I'm an ace attorney. Damn, he's about to bomb his comeback.
As you wish, my lord. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you will.
Certainly, my lord. As your lordship's aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity.
We must be the only ones here who aren't aware.
The incident took place in the late evening, 3 days past. The door was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as Thrice-Fired Mason.
Thrice none the richer. Kiss me.
He was a very accomplished craftsman. These bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in the service of the streets of London at the time. A dagger had been thrust into the victim's abdomen. Is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here's the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence.
The autopsy report's been entered. Yay! Also, the photograph.
And one further item of evidence.
The prosecution wishes to submit these as well.
And these are... Good Lord! Is that blood, counsel?
Amen.
Yes, my lord.
Seized by the policemen who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked clothes were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGilded's gloves had blood on them? Well, we gotta see if they actually fit on him. You know what they say, if it don't fit, best to quit. Oh, damn.
Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well.
The defendant's gloves, yay. How'd I get into this? I'm backed into a corner before I even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside the vehicle at this time. Only 2? Obviously, one of the passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus Begilded.
Well, rather damning circumstances, you'd say at least. Defendant, what do you say?
Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing.
Mr. McGilded.
To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. But whenever I'm in the carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness and always succumb to it.
Are you claiming to have been asleep?
'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. Lilting so it is. And then I opened my eyes again. 'Twas a desperate sight before me. A body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in me life. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves, was I?
So the blood got in the gloves then after the man was killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning. What? It's not all of it.
There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. Order, order, order. When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. Is this not the matter of compelling evidence? Is the nail in the coffin for the accused? Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime are quite clear. I think we'll hear testimony from these witnesses first of all. Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses at once. Oh man, he's so cold.
Witnesses, your names and occupations.
My name is Will. Everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the East End.
Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in this city.
My name's First. Lady First. I make hats for gents.
Lady first. Oh, ladies first. Because he's a bit of a charmer.
I make hats for gents.
Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you were present the day of the omnibus and witnessed the aforementioned incident. I do have to... I know I think at least either 8 or 8:30 I might end up stopping. But I still want to get through quite a bit of this. Get some framework. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Quite right.
Yes, sir. That's right, sir.
Very well then. Let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each one of you will tell the court precisely what you saw.
Oh, the flavor text is a little spicy for ye old England.
It was the last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other in the bus. Then, out of the blue, the accused just reached over, plunged a knife into his guts.
Oh, that's right. He stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped me bus, and I saw her too.
Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Oh, I'm just gonna save a moment. It's like, if I mess up, this is gonna be really bad. Let's see. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incidents in the omnibus with their own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Yes, counsel.
Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside of a moving carriage, didn't it? As has been clearly said from the outset, yes. Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of a moving carriage. Oh. How quaint. I'd read that civilization in the eastern island nations was a good century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you ever traveled in an omnibus? Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime. That is. What do you mean? The actual scene? How? The carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much. Oh, yes. The omnibus in which the bloody crime took place in here today is in this very building. Here? What? The entire carriage? Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus. Man, it'd still be hard to see in there. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe they could just bring something so enormous in here in Great Britain's courtrooms. So amazing. Man, imagine if someone could bring like a totaled vehicle inside of a courtroom. Be like, oh yeah, like there was a murder inside of a car. We actually brought the car inside of here. It is just like a bloodstained like Lamborghini. And it's like, okay, who drove the bloody Lamborghini in here? Who airlifted or dragged this bloody Lamborghini? But being able to see someone dying in a moving car, it is a bit wild. It's like, how do you become a witness of somebody just being stabbed in like that quickly? As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside of the enclosed cabin, and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city architecture and the sights are to be had from the top of the omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there's a skylight in the roof, allowing for the view of the interior from the seats above. Ah, skylight. Ah! The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats of this omnibus when the murder took place. And that's how they came to witness the grave incident. Through the skylight. That makes perfect sense. Well, counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I'd never seen the crime scene itself being brought to the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Very well. I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence? Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Let us continue with proceedings, then. Your cross-examination, counsel. Pray, don't expect this Nipponi stray to understand the intricacies of British courts' cross-examination rights. This is actually the part I'm good at, because in Japan they do a lot of cross-examination. Alright, my first cross-examination in a British courtroom. Focus, Ryunosuke. Focus. Alright, let's see. The last bus of the evening had a few customers as well. The victim and the man accused of killing were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, just reached over and stabbed him. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped the bus, and then I saw it too. Alright. Hey, how's it going, Silvernox? I am in a trial at the moment, so... At the moment, I am defending somebody who's accused of stabbing somebody inside of a kind of omnibus, which is, I guess, sort of like a carriage. So, how are you doing? I'm a stabbing, yes. What's it called? If I look at the evidence here, yeah, this guy over here was stabbed with a knife, and according to the evidence, yeah, what's it called? This dude was stabbed. Am I doing good? The stabbing. This is actually the first time I've had to cross-examine, like, in chapter 3. So, I'm actually kind of at, like, the first leg where I have to start, like, doing my critical thinking skills and try to piece it all together. These are our witnesses. This is the victim. This is the prosecutor, so this is our Edgeworth. For anyone that doesn't know, this is a Phoenix Wright prequel. So I'm playing his great-great-grandpa, and I'm trying to defend this dude because he was accused of stabbing somebody. This is the guy that, I guess, told me to be a lawyer. And this is the Maya. This is a Susato. Alright, so when it happened, the only two people in the enclosed cabin were the victim and the defendant. And so help me, 3 whole people witnessed the man trying to defend do the deed. I don't like to be pessimistic, but we do seem to be in a difficult situation. What am I supposed to think here? Is Mr. McGilded really innocent? Or could it be... Before we jump to conclusions, our first task should be to gather information. We need to understand this case better than we do at the moment. Absolutely right. Yay, it's very sus. The whole entire mechanics behind Phoenix Wright and its prequel is finding out who is sus. Which of you imposters is sus? Let's see. We're sat next to each other. The last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers.
Hold it!
Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, sir, that's right, yes. Even the cold freezing, in fact.
And you had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct?
Yes, that's right, sir. Not traveling in the same parts of the bus, no.
Oh. Wait, no. No presenting nothing. Oh, wait. Not traveling in the same parts of the bus. Okay. There were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for an example. No other passengers like that. None. He has frostbite even now. Wait, it's like, what was the history? Shit. It was, let's see. I think it was sometime after 10. Freezing, in fact. You had 4 passengers. Not traveling with the same parts of the bus, no. There were no other passengers when the innocent. No one alighted. No other passengers like that. I want to see what's in this dude's hat. Oh, I can't grill this dude. No. So nobody fled the scene of the crime then. Beppo from One Piece. There's a lot of weird One Piece parallels with the Great Ace Attorney. Between the ships and between this, it is pretty tricky. I have to say, the boss insists on it running every evening, last bus of the day. But I do wonder if sometimes it's altogether worthwhile. Sorry to say. What do you mean by that?
Well, with what it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see.
Well, that's 6 pence none the richer.
Yes, I had pretty much prepared on the way home here, just trying to warm up.
Okay. The victim and the man accused of killing were next to each other inside the bus, and out of the blue, the curse just reached over and plunged a knife.
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say? You were sitting up on the roof deck, were you? Roof deck.
Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the little fellow that was stabbed. I'd been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was just gazing absent-mindedly around. But then it happened. I happened to look down below the skylight. It was sticking right outside of his belly. The huge, great knife.
A grim sight. A grim sight indeed.
That didn't help me at all.
The jury looks like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before. It appears to make everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGilded's telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First.
Oh, yes, sir.
Is this the knife you saw?
Oh, good grief. Yes, that's it. That's the very one, sir.
Is that? Yes, counsel. This is the blade that was driven to the victim's belly like a stake through the heart.
That is the blade of considerable size, counsel.
That's what Cosmo said last night.
It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter N, which seems to be oddly familiar.
Please, no.
M, for Magnus, perhaps? Or McGilded, possibly.
Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
But there are M's everywhere. Yes. Like in Mason.
Objection!
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned it. No, the weapon of murder was almost certainly belonged to the accused.
Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel. The murder weapon.
My lord.
Juror number 3, what's the meaning of this?
My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up.
Made up about what? Yeah, this guy looks pretty sus. He's throwing knives and he's a jury.
I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be. Every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me.
That's racist.
There's no point wasting time listening to him anymore, that's my opinion on the matter anyway.
Dick, that's precisely what I was about to say.
I'll see you, Silver Knox. Bye.
As the foreman of the jury, it is my duty to set a good example for my fellow jurors.
What's happening here? Let me see. Ah, yes. It seems that's how the British give their verdicts. By throwing them in the fire scale. White for innocence and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one they'll cast their ball into the fire of the scales of justice we saw a moment ago. So if those enormous scales fall to complete black side, that means... Let's do our best to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm even more worried than I was before.
Very well. The court acknowledges the change in the jury's stance. Counsel of the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
This is a nightmare.
As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped the bus, and then I saw it too.
Alright. So when that happened, the only 2 people in the enclosed cabin were the victim and the defendant. And so help me, 3 whole people. Let's see. We're all good. Let me examine some of this evidence, because I think that'll actually help me out quite a bit. Let's see. Let's see. Oh no. How do I guess examine here? Oh, I know. Examine here. No! Shit! No, fuck. No, I gotta, it was circle. I clicked square instead of circle on my controller. Fuck. Oh. Let's see. No, let me look at the evidence. No, not this. Autopsy report. 10 or 11, brickmaker. Stabbed once in the abdomen, died due to an internal hemorrhage from trauma. That's the photo of the victim. Can't really examine it. Blood. Can't find anything out of place. Let's see. I know looking at the blood might be a good thing. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with. Well, nothing will come from grumbling. No, by the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Huh, pity. If only he'd been left-handed. I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. Let's see. There's nothing in here, I think. All of these are fine. An 8-seater omnibus. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed. The witnesses could have been able to see quite clearly. It's not good for us. A Phoenix Wright. Ooh. Damn. Wonder if there are any ace attorneys in charge. I didn't know Phoenix was in charge of this. Can't find anything suspicious. Well, let's open the door and go inside. The scene of a murder, it's horrible. Alright, let's look. Ah, that's a poster for the great exhibition due 6 months from now. A lot of focus being drawn, central to the whole exposition. Ooh, a crystal tower. It's under construction, I believe. People all over must be fizzling with excitement. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yeah, it's quite large enough to afford a good view of the cabin from the roof deck. Doesn't seem to be a handle or a catch for a description. It can't be opened from the inside, at least. Let's see, sorry. Ah, that's a poster. That's the same exhibition one. Sorry, that's my... Come on. Come on. It's this way, not... Oh, I'm starting to see the axis is weird on this. That's blood that's soaked in the seat. The victim's obviously. Yes, and the seat's clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab someone full view with the other passengers, I wonder? It was after dark. There was a lamp on here, so perhaps he couldn't see outside the skylight. It doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. Have you seen enough? Let's step back outside then. Let's see. I think we're all good from here. Alright, examine the knife. Part of the sheath. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, sorry, yes. I just don't really like blades. Those don't seem like words with a man with a large katana from his wasteland. It's not a blade, that's Kazuma's soul. Oh, that's really romantic. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Ooh, bloody. That could be a W. The ornate M, undeniably his initial, is beautifully gilded. Must be very valuable. Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it could be a W. This could change everything. It's one of those, you know, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. I don't know it at all, but what I'm sure of is that it is an M. Oh. Well, that idea was quickly quashed. I do think it might be a W. I can't find anything out of place. Let's see. The blood. It's like a lot of blood. Surely is. The victims. An Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. Did you think it wouldn't? Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here. I'm finding it a little hard to imagine that these people are lizards. It's like, what did you think? Yeah. Let's see. Last bus. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other in the bus. Let me press. And you saw them through the skylight. That's right, when you sit up on the top deck. The window's right there at your feet. There was a lamp on the inside, so I had a pretty good view. And the two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was none other than Mr. McGilded. How can you be so sure? Well, how do I put it politely? Mr. Gilded was a gentleman of rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. What about you?
Excuse me.
Well, Mr. Beppo?
Oh, me, sir.
Do you have something to add in relation to the last statement?
Well, sir, there's just one thing, sir. I was wondering what was going to become of my omnibus after the trial.
What do you mean?
I can't help but wonder, will no one want to ride the carriage someone was killed in? Or will everyone want to ride it? Yes, the carriage could be an attraction, maybe. It could be a sink in the swim at the moment. Oh yes, I think it will be.
Well, you could just focus on the testimony, pal. And out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife to his guts. It's gonna be like, oh, are you sure? You actually saw the exact moment? Didn't I already testify to that? Or are you a fair dinkum, hard-working city banker not considered trustworthy these days? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I've really got his back. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail, if that is.
My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption.
Ah, juror number 2, go on.
Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman. In a gentleman's word shall be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service must accept the hard truths.
What are you about to do?
Dispose of the rubbish.
Am I doing bad? No.
I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime. Hold it! I have painstakingly typed every word uttered today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion.
Man, all y'all are dicks. Y'all are some real assholes in this court. It's 4 out of 6 juror members who proposed a guilty. There's only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more info, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. I suppose I'll just keep pressing the witnesses. We mustn't give up hope. We'll be able to uncover something. What? Alright. I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. So let's see. What have I come across? I pressed this guy. This testimony. I pressed this.
Hold it!
Did you really scream?
Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seat. I remember seeing a little gent when he got stabbed. I've been thinking of a new hat design.
I think maybe I'd already. We have felt compelled to use the Susato takedown. Oh wait, shit. You stabbed them and they're running a roof. That's right, I was up at the roof seats. I remember stabbing with a little chin. I was thinking of a new hat design, so I was just gazing absent-minded. Then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking. That was a huge knife. This wasn't a court of law to use a Susato takedown. No, I'll be more careful. As we have heard, the witness has unfettered view unfolded. Would that not concur, Coachman? Your dithering suggested that you would.
Oh, yes, sir. As soon as I heard the scream, I saw it too.
Let's see.
Hold it!
Did I press this one? I think that this is good. But I just keep pressing them. I think I might have already pressed this. Why don't you ask the young man next to me? Let's see.
Excuse me!
Mr. First,
How can I help you, sir?
that last statement, did it trouble you in some way?
Oh, not particular, sir, no.
If anything, he's troubling me with that hat of his. Has he greased his head?
Oh, dear, sir. I hope my hat's not troubling you, sir. I'm just an apprentice, you see.
Mr. Naruhodo, even the witness can see what's going on through your minds. You really must be more careful. I wish it were that simple. Couldn't help it.
Hold it!
That's the Susato slap. What do I even... I don't remember what I didn't. Maybe as you stopped the bus and then you saw it. What exactly did you see?
Oh, well, that would be a passenger, sir. In the collapse on the board it was.
And by passenger, you're not referring to the victim.
And their other passenger had the knife in his hand, like this.
By the other passenger, you're referring to the accused, Mr. McGildus Magnus.
And then they plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly.
What?
My lord, I wish to speak.
Yes, juror number 5. Do I take it that you too?
As the master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of murder being committed in one of the city's cashhouses is utterly abhorrent to me. It would be the right thing to make a decision before hearing the facts, though, I said to myself. But I've heard enough now. The house is bolted, as I say.
No, please, just keep an open mind.
Gee up, Silver Blaze. The finish is in sight. Beppo's a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what that man says.
Oh, thank you, sir. You're so kind, sir.
Oh, this is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agree to condemn this man. Madam Juror number 6.
Yes, dear. What can I do for you?
You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand.
Oh, yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know.
Then pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leanings?
Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park around this time of year, and I sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. Mr. McGilded Park, it's called. The gentleman donated it to the city, you know. It put a smile on Londoners' faces, he says. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have had it in him to take another man's life.
He's always doing wonderful things for the city. That's right! A man like that wouldn't stab somebody. Mother, may we go see McGilded's public library later and borrow some more books? How many Londoners live with their head in the clouds? Do you people not know? What kind of man Mr. Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of man is he? A philanthropist, Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city, claims to have value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls. What?
Stone the cross.
Gilded lends money to Exoner, pays rates of the interests, so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He is a vulture that preys on the weak.
I've never heard any mention of that before.
Your facilities have deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So this has this not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have to make use of public office? You're not saying that the victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name, save a considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise to the creditor was the accused Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed, a final repayment date for his debts.
Good gracious.
The brickmaker was destitute. He lost his house. He had not a shilling in which he could repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owed taken from him, his life. By the merciless, philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded. I don't believe it. If I might add something briefly, Mrs. Sato. You claimed the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded, but where's the evidence to support your claim? Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in a court of law.
There it is. Lord Van Seek's hallowed chalice. Trademark.
Man, how is this considered acceptable? Man, him drinking in court is allowed because he's like an ace, like, prosecutor.
But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to see it myself.
As judicial assistant to defense, I'm doing my job.
What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledge, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded in here. Oh, allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgiveness, the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. A marvelous toast, Counsel. I will gladly simp for you. I bet your boots and your feet are quite delicious. Ah yes, 20 guineas. A victim owed a considerable sum.
The accused has made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Well, it would seem I've had a wool pulled over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, this is the modus operandi of the accused.
There's a pretty little walk, too. What a scoundrel. What a pretty fire. Still, maybe it's all for the best.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Let's think about this a little more.
I don't stand for nonsense.
And that was it? Well, that's juror's decision. According to this law book, British people don't actually have a giant scale from the Iron Chef. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver a final verdict and sentence. That's what it says here. Huh, the final verdict. It's over then. Oh. There's a footnote, though. A footnote. However, the defense...
Our 6 members are now in agreement to the case. Let's rush this. All good day, let's go to the pub. It's all fine.
Allow me to convey my respect to your swift and righteous decision.
According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections.
Miss Usato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes? You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote. However, the defense, what did it say next? Oh yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury conclude the defendant's guilty, court proceedings are suspended, presiding judge and final verdict. Then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation exam of the jurors at this point. Yeah, you sketchy little fuckers. I'm gonna fucking get all y'all.
Objection!
Objection, that's fucking rude. Why would you do that? A summation exam? From which century of that tome has been resurrected? Judging from the binding, I would say the book is at least 50 years old. In court, we play the beat to Becky, as you will be hearing in the next couple minutes. From our old famed British poet, Plies. It's a relic, long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck. Oh. What even is it, Mrs. Sato? This summation exam. Oh, one moment. I'll read about it. You would demand the right to procedure before you even understand what it entails. Typical Nipponese. It's racist. I have to be like reading alongside the racist font only to like reiterate like no, that's bad. To make sure everyone knows that I don't agree with it. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal the members of the jury. To do what exactly? Appeal them to change their leaning and reverse their decisions. As it says here, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. And also, this hasn't been, like, banned. Yes, in times gone by, the barristers would use summations to influence the jury's opinions. That procedure's a formality, with no practical benefits, so it fell out of use.
I wonder why. Because it's corrupt. Changing just one member, the jury's mind's hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barristers would assert his right to try in this day and age. Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated, largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? A summation exam. Our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat? I'm going to assert the right, but I think that this might be a good time to stop it for today. So I'm going to assert the right, and then the defense wishes to assert its right to summation examination, my lord. I'm going to stop over here. I'm going to maybe finish this on another Thursday, maybe. But I will be right back with the end of this as soon as I can. But for now, I'm going to just kind of, we're going to like exit the game a bit. Let's save one last time on this. This is going to be this very one. And I am going to be heading out for the night. Or the day. Whomstever you might be in. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming along. I'm so excited. It was such a good stream today. I had a really good time reading along. And I think chapter 3 is starting to get really exciting. So, as the runner of a cafe, who is also an alien, there's a thing I do where I have the ability to enchant a microphone, or enchant my drinks, by touching on the glass. And being able to imbue like a lot of just energy and enthusiasm. So there's a lot of people on at the moment. There's quite a few actually. So whomsoever you end up watching next, I'm going to poke my beauty mark on my left cheek, poke the microphone, and you all will be going off to whatever streamer you stream next. And you're going to give them a very warm and good time. I'll be seeing you all soon. I'll see you all this Sunday. Bye now.